but still being a dreamer kind of like restricts me from it's kind of ironic, it restricts me from dreaming.
I want the children that are growing up in the United States to be dreamers also. They're not dreaming right now.
When someone's coming here, more times than not, they're coming because they're trying to get a better situation.
I get a phone call, and my sister told me that they got him. And I said, what do you mean they got him?
Day one, we end a border policy which allows federal agents to snatch babies from the arms of their mothers.
What they want is to turn the United States of America into the United Socialist States of America.
When I heard about America, for me it was like paradise. It was a place where there was no pain, there was no problem, there was no issues.
The beautiful coloring of our country that is happening at a faster pace is creating fear.
USA! USA! USA!
This man who struck these two women, he was deported 8 times.
These incredible women who lost their daughters and their sons.
That's unfair to say someone's a racist because they take a position.
Life is so hard in Haiti or in the country that they had before, they'll take the risk of getting caught. Like, it's almost like all or nothing.
All the data that I've seen indicates that crime is higher in a sanctuary city than in a non-sanctuary city.
There's rules, there's regulations, there's laws.
Like at the end of the day, you know, I'm just like you.
I am you.
I am
You.
you.
In the end, we remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. We are back here. Welcome back to the conversation, Brockton's Breakfast Club. Okay, if you're a politician, you got to stop by the Breakfast Club right here. Well, we're in the afternoon, so it's kind of the afternoon club. Okay, so that's what we're doing. Anywho, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you for joining us. Jamie Hodges, candidate for Ward 2 City Council. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
So, Jamie, you know, you're new to the political scene. You decided to run. Talk about, for people who don't know you, to just kind of just introduce yourself and why you decided to run for city council.
Sure. Well, I'm Jamie Hodges. I'm a 2012 graduate from Brockton High School. I got my bachelor's degree in 2016 from Regis College in business. Last year, I graduated with my MBA from LaSalle University.
Congrats.
Thank you. I currently work full-time for the Registry of Motor Vehicles Title Division with the State Police Salvage Unit. That's my full-time job. Wanted to run for Ward 2 because I feel like the community needs a voice to listen to their concerns. Like if they have an issue, be able to call up their city councilor and get their voice or whatever they want to see change and know that it's going to happen and not be just pushed to the side.
So what is it in Ward 2 right now that you're maybe concerned about or something that you maybe want to improve on? What are some reasons why, and what are some initiatives you would do if you're a city councilor?
Yes, so 3 things that I want to focus on is first, public safety, our public safety as a whole in Ward 2. You want to feel safe when you leave your house. You don't want to be fearful. And that also coincides to calling the police. You want to feel like you have that healthy relationship between calling the police and they're going to show up. You also want to have, like, I've been talking to some of my constituents and they're elderly individuals, and they say they're scared to call the police. And also individuals who English is in their first language and they migrated here, they talk about how they're scared to call the police because of fears of getting in trouble. So I definitely want to bridge that gap between law enforcement and the community and not have that fear. So definitely improving public safety. My second goal is to support small businesses. Small businesses make up Brockton. They're a big part of our community. And the third one is to expand and deeper community engagement. You shouldn't have to have something bad happen, for example, for the cops to come around. The cops should be able to come around, interact with the youth, talk to them, let them know it's okay to call the police. We're not bad. So
let's dive right into the topic of policing. Last year, George Floyd murder happened in Minnesota. Protests all over the world. A lot of protests right here in Brockton. So how do you improve those relationships, between the community and police? There were talks about civilian review board. There were talks about body cameras and different ideas, more community policing, walking beats, what have you. So you touched upon it. Just get a little more detail about how would you improve community Actually, first of all, how do you see the relationship, and how would you improve it?
Well, I see the relationship as like it can be kind of iffy because not a lot of people, with all the things that's going on in the world, not a lot of people are best friends with the police. Let's put it, give or take. But I definitely know about the civilian review board, and I think that's an awesome idea. I do. My take on it is I think it should be more of an appointed situation, like members of the community, but I feel like no member of government or the city should sit on it. It should be strictly civilians, so they don't have like the biased mindset on it. So and I think of improving that is to, like I said, to expand and like get the community out there, let them hold events with the police, like let them build back up that relationship, because it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time to be able to build that back up and trust the police and everything. But I feel like with the right events and the right tactic on how to get a hold of the situation, we can build a better relationship in Brockton.
All right. So let's talk about what are some priorities you would have when you're in council. What are your priority number one that you have to be on the council? Like, what's the first thing you say, you know what, we got to really try to help solve this issue?
My first thing, even on all my literature, is public safety. That is like my number one thing. Like, I feel like you have to feel safe in your community. You have to feel safe going around. That's my first thing. I want to be able to, if it's to get that civilian review board going, if it's to whatever, community policing, like I just want to jump on that public safety aspect of it.
Let's talk about businesses and revenue, and how would you bring revenue into the city? Everyone complains. I complain about, taxes rising and paying more on your mortgage. I mean, it's a legitimate complaint, but we have to get more money to come into the city for that to happen. So again, I told everyone who's been here before, a counselor is not just one person. It's obviously a team effort. You're 1 out of 11 and the mayor, amongst other people as well. How would you do your part to help bring revenue into the city?
Well, my part is to be able to work with those small, like the existing small businesses we have. So find out like if their needs are being met, if they're like being heard from, like if they're asking for things from like the mayor or city officials, right, making sure that their needs are being met. If not, how can I help you get what you need? Like, how can I assist? I'm on the council board, like you said, I'm one of 11. So my voice is, I can bring it back to the council table. Okay, this business wants this. Like, what do you guys think about that? And as you said about the tax issue, I think I would propose to have like a maximum tax a year, like a max. So like say 5%, because as you know, the taxes are raising heavily now. But have like a cap. Like they can't go over a certain cap a year in the city. So per building or per house, however it goes. But right, I think I would propose a cap. Like you can't go over like say 5% cap a year. That's all we can do a year for taxes, and then increase of that, because as the taxes rise, you have housing that puts people in like eviction situations and stuff like that, because landlords, if they're taxed more for their property, they have to raise the rent. So I look at that also, like individuals living in buildings as well.
Describe your experience, your professional experience, and how is that going to help you translate to being a counselor?
Yes. So through my professional, I first used to work at American Airlines as a supervisor. So I have that leadership initiative, being able to rise to the occasion, get what needs to be done, have a set goal. Okay, we have to do this for Ward 2. Let's make it happen. In my experience now, I work for the registry, but I work with 5 other state troopers, and I'm the administrative assistant to them. So I'm the one that has to make sure they stay on track, all their goals are met, make sure their appointments are done. So I feel like by bringing that to the table, then we can stay on track in Ward 2, but I'm only one of 11, so.
Right. Talk about how important, diversity and representation, and it's and how that matters. Or is it, there's no, that's not an issue. Talk about how is that an issue, and how important is it that, listen, you'd be a black female on the council, and do you think that in itself will kind of mend some fences between maybe government and the community?
I definitely agree. Diversity is very important, especially when you're working with a diverse city such as Brockton. We're very diverse. So I feel like when you have a council board, you at least got to have diversity on it. Because if you have a person, like if you have a council board, but then I'm trying to make a point and there's no one that on the council board that like looks like me, then I'm going to think, how are you in my best interests? So in my opinion, yes, diversity. It has to be a diverse council board. Like you need like new faces and everything, but you need some old individuals too that's been on the council to show us the ropes, to build us up, but at the same time, that diversity has to be straight across the board.
What about the people who say that you don't have the experience? You're too young. What would you say to those people who say that in terms of, you know what, you don't have experience to be a city councilor? Why do that now? What would you say to them?
I would say everybody started at the bottom one time. Like everybody, you didn't walk right off the street and knew all the ropes to become a city council. Everybody learned how to do it. So yes, I'm young, but I'm young making an initiative to become a city council so I can move the roads, maybe be at large one day, maybe be mayor one day, who knows? So I just want to build the experience as I'm young, so as I get older, I can achieve those goals. So just because I'm young, I've done a lot. I have my master's and everything, so that doesn't mean anything.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, we're all young at one point. But they're starting to call me old now. I'm not that old. I'm there. So let's talk about the youth. This is a passion of mine. I'm a teacher. You graduated 2016.
12.
I was 2012.
Yeah.
I was 2006. So I'm passionate about the youth. So let's just say Brockton and I about 1,000 kids graduate a year, give or take, maybe a little less. Between Southeast and Cardinal Spelman, that's about 2,000 kids that graduate every single year. How do we get them involved? So, you know, people, young people like yourself and younger people, I know there's Bree Nichols running, more younger people, Jack Lally's, you know, is running for re-election. How do you get more younger people involved in politics?
I think by educating them, because as I was younger, I never would have thought that I would be sitting here today running for a public office. But I think by like not letting that stigma of you have to be a certain way or look a certain way or have a certain degree or anything, that you can still achieve it no matter what. Because like you said, Jack Lally, he's the youngest on the council board right now. He's young and he did it. So I feel like by getting, like, even if it's like you talking to youth, like even like me as a city council, if I go out and talk to youth and say, hey, like I'm only 26 years old and I did this, just because you're 18, 19, 20, you can still do it no matter what. Like just like upbringing them and letting them know, like, don't destroy their confidence. Like just keep uplifting them and tell them they can do it. Motivated.
What would you tell the viewers before we get out of here? Why, this one last pitch, why should they vote you as the next Ward 2 city councilor?
You should vote me as the next Ward 2 city council, because I will make sure Ward 2 is properly represented. All your voices are heard. And I have an open phone line no matter what time it is. It could be 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'll be asleep, but I'll wake up and answer your phone call no matter what. And yeah, definitely on September 14th, just make sure you go out and vote. I'm number 3. Save the best for last.
Listen, thank you for, you know, running. Anyone who runs and puts it out there, that takes a lot of courage, you know, a lot of sacrifice and time. So, you know, yourself and everyone running, you know, I really, you know, admire you guys for that courage. So wish you nothing but the best of luck.
Thank you.
Wish you nothing but the best of luck. And you know, hopefully after the primaries, if you get through, I'd love for you to come back and join us again.